Angela Rayner. She's facing... You lot, my God! Let me finish talking about the story first. She's facing fresh questions over tax, following reports that she avoided £40,000 in stamp duty when buying her seaside flat in Hove by telling tax authorities that it was her main home and removing her name from the deeds of another property in Greater Manchester. Now, let me just clarify. It's not suggested that she has broken any laws whatsoever. So, Jane, why then does it matter?
Because of how it looks. She's a housing minister, she's Deputy Prime Minister, and there's a few things about this story. Absolutely, she hasn't broken the law, but it seems that she told HMRC that this Brighton flat she's just bought has become her main home, which means that she escaped paying an extra £40,000 in stamp duty on the house in her constituency. Now, she's done something with that where she's relinquished her half of the house to a trust, which is operated by a firm called Shoesmiths, which indicates big fees. It's like a big accountancy stroke tax firm, and it specialises in wealth protection. Now, all of that is above the law.
So nothing illegal she's done?
Nothing illegal at all, but the optics of it are not great when you look at everything that Labour is doing in terms of squeezing very hard-pressed, the very working people that they claim that they were coming into power to help. Plus, I might add, that if this had been a Tory and Angela Rayner was in opposition, can we imagine how much she would have been shrieking from the rooftops about Tory sleaze? She did exactly the same thing with Rishi Sunak. When Rishi Sunak, the whole non-dom status of his wife, it was Angela Rayner who said, it's time to come clean on this whole murky business. Now, Rishi Sunak's wife wasn't doing anything illegal.
No.
Again, it was the optics of it, and we all got very cross about that as well. So you can't have it one way in opposition and some you know, completely different in power.
But then, Denzi, when it comes to, you know, politicians being open and honest about their finances, do you think that they should all be doing this? Or do you feel as though the public has more of an issue about things like this at the moment? Because if they can't get an appointment for a GP or get the operation they need on the NHS or on a huge waiting list, there's a lot of upset in terms of what people perceive as the have and the have-nots. But do you think if people's lives, they felt their lives were better, they wouldn't necessarily care so much?
I think that I would imagine that the majority of people would feel the same. I personally don't care who they're sleeping with, what money they've got in the bank, what they're doing with their money, if they were running this country effectively and properly. If they were getting the 4 million children that are living in abject poverty in this country. They have completely cancelled enterprise. They're not supporting small business. You know, there is no incentive to work hard in this country because the Labour government, of all governments, are coming along to take everything. That's what I think they should be concentrating on. And other than that, I wouldn't give a monkey's about what they're doing. We're in a terrible state.
Yeah, I mean, would you want them to be honest, more honest, Cole, or are you just not that bothered?
They never have been honest.
We've always wanted them to be honest, and we're never going to get an honest government anywhere in the world, in my opinion. I think what's really sad at the moment is I feel a whole weight of people with anger. You can just feel it in the air. They're angry, they're sad, they're really struggling with the cost of living, with the NHS that they're constantly being told is going to rack and ruin. All of that, to me, is so sad, and I don't think anybody has trust anymore in that politicians care, because I don't think they do.
But one thing we always have to reiterate is that Angela Rayner hasn't done anything that's illegal. She has done... You're right about the optics. You're absolutely right about the optics.
One part of the story which I find intriguing. So HMRC, it seems, she said that her primary residence is Brighton, but it appears that the Cabinet Office, she told them that her primary residence was her constituency, because then you don't pay the double council tax on the Grace and Favour home in Admiralty House. So I think there's going to be more to come on this story, because obviously the press are all over it. But and interestingly, this morning there's been a suggestion that actually it's some of her Labour colleagues that are leaking some of this information. So there's a lot of infighting going on.
Goodness me.
Well, yeah, but it's also a distraction, isn't it, again, from what they're not doing. You know, all of this is a distraction.
We contacted Angela Rayner's office and they said the Deputy Prime Minister paid the relevant duty owing on the purchase of the Hove property in line with relevant requirements and entirely properly, and suggestion otherwise is entirely without basis. OK, there you go.